Good afternoon to everyone. Today, I will introduce myself. I am Dr. Jineshwari Eligoda, Head of Department, Associate Professor, Department of Anatomy at Gulabrao Patil Homeopathic Medical College, Miraz. Since 23 years, I am having the teaching experience and I am teaching the anatomy subject since 23 years. So it is a great honor to deliver the lecture today through the MUHS Nasik during this lockdown pandemic coronavirus disease attack. So everyone is in the home remaining safely so that MUHS has taken the initiative to give the knowledge through online so that the MUHS has taken the online lectures from the guest lecturer and they have appointed me today 1:30 p.m. I am starting with my topic, that is the stomach. So before starting the stomach, my special thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor of MUHS Nasik, Professor Dr. Dilip Mahisekar sir, and special thanks to Registrar MUHS Nasik, Dr. K.D. Chavan sir, and special thanks to our beloved Dean of the Homeopathic Faculty, Dr. Dhanaji Bagal sir, and our beloved Chairman of Gulabrao Patil Homeopathic Medical College, Miraz, Prithviraj Patil sir, for giving us a wonderful setup to teach our college students. With that, today I am involving with the initiative and learning this all by his all supports, that is our chairman Prithviraj Patil sir. With that setup, confidently I am going to deliver the lecture through the university. So also I take this opportunity to thank all the information technology department of university. So it is a great honor to me in this coronavirus pandemic. All my dear students are sitting in the home. They should not suffer with the knowledge. So that it is our duty to, as a teacher, to give them the timely updated knowledge. So that it is very important topic today I'm going to deal, that is the stomach. So here, almost all, whatever we are dealing the anatomy of stomach, when you see the stomach, this is one of the organ included in the GIT system. So as a GIT organ means what? The gastrointestinal tract, which begins from the oral cavity, then it is starting from the oral cavity tongue, and it is included as a esophagus here. Then you have to have the stomach, and that we are going to concentrate. Then you have the all GIT tract includes, that is the small intestine. We have the large intestine. So small intestine parts, we have the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So large intestine, which includes the cecum, appendix, and this is ascending colon, and this is a transverse colon, descending colon. Then we have the sigmoid colon, and we have the rectum and anal canal. So these all are the major parts which are included in the GIT system. So that it is a very great thing, that is I am dealing the stomach pie, because one sentence I will tell in Marathi, पोटासाठी आपण सगळं करतो. So as a doctor of future, a new budding doctor should know the all details relating the stomach. So anatomy of stomach, that is it is in the university first year BHMS question paper. This question can be asked for the, it can be asked for the 20 marks question. That is 20 marks question. It is either in the second paper, it is asked in the question number 5 or question number 6. So it is very important to deal, that is, we are going to learn today, that is the all the heads, what you should write in the exam, what you should know, primary basics of the stomach. So it is very important, that topic, because it is also few questions from the abdomen. We have 2 marks questions, and that also we are going to cover. So that it is very important, because we are going to deal the long question, that is the stomach, that is asked in the second anatomy paper, question number 5, question number 6. It may ask, so that it is a very important topic, and that is asked for the 20 marks. So I'm giving you the importance of this total, all the important points relating the stomach. So when any structure is asked in the paper, you should know that is explained under the following heads. So what you are going to get heads. So stomach, we are going to deal, or I am going to deliver the lecture that is on the following heads. So my dear students, you should know the introduction of the stomach as I have begun. Then we are going to deal the definition. Then we have the shape and location or position. Then we are going to deal the size of the stomach. Then we are going to deal the external features of stomach. Then we are going to get the relations of stomach, that is includes the any peritoneal attachments, ligaments, and visceral relations, and interior of stomach. So here interior of stomach also we are going to deal, and how after opening the stomach we can see. Then we are going to deal the blood supply, nerve supply. Then we are going to have the lymphatic drainage. Then we have the functions, then clinical anatomy. So first we are going to deal what is the definition of stomach. So before that, one more point you have to add in the total, that is the stomach. So whatever almost all the literatures of anatomy, which are always have the basic concept and basic background, the words which are derived from the different, that is a Greek or Latin words. So we may have the synonyms like the applying Greek word, that is we can call stomach, that is relating word, Greek word, that is a gaster. So next, also we have the Latin word that is also known as a venter or ventriculus. So these are the basic things gastroenterologist, gastrointestinal diseases, so gastritis. So almost all these words which are itself, name itself suggests that is all relates to the stomach. So next, going to the definition of stomach. It is very important, I have told it is a hollow muscular organ. As we have seen above here, esophagus opens into that is the stomach. Lower end of the esophagus opening, and we are going to get as a beginning of the total, that is a formation, that is the stomach. So that is a definition is stomach is a hollow muscular organ forming the widest and most distensible part of the digestive tube. Why it is called most distensible? Because it has its action like a reservoir. Then we have the reservoir, means food or liquids remains for some time, and digestion is a work. So that almost all GIT, when you start with the esophagus, so it is very important to know that why it is we are named as a hollow and muscular and widest and most distensible. Because when we see the esophagus and intestine, all they are we are going to have the total, that is the narrow muscular tube. when we define the esophagus, we define it as the narrow muscular tube. So conveys the food from the oropharynx to the stomach, so that it is very important that is know that you are going to have the almost all the most widest and distensible part of the stomach. So that is the most GIT is, that is includes the part that is stomach, widest and most distensible part. So definition you have to make, it is a hollow muscular organ forming the widest and most distensible part of the digestive tube. As I have already told, it is connected with the lower end of the esophagus, and it will continue and connects to the first part of the duodenum. So here we are going to deal now, that is what is the location of the stomach. So whenever you see the stomach, in that almost all the organ where they are located in the 9 quadrants of the abdomen. That is very important. When you see roughly, that is almost all roughly, we see the total stomach, that is it is situated at the left upper hypochondriac region. Means what? Here we have the largest upper quadrant. On the right side we have the liver, so that on the opposite side, left hypochondriac region, and this region which is, that is stomach, is located in the, that is the left hypochondriac region, and we have epigastric region, and we have in the umbilicus. So it is very important to know when all the 9 quadrants are there, what is the location of the stomach. So its stomach lies obliquely in the upper and left part of the abdomen. That also you can add for the location of the stomach. So upper part of the stomach lies under the cover of the left costal margin and ribs. Here we have the left costal margin, and ribs are covered by the, that is the stomach. So this is what we have studied about the, that is the location of the stomach. Here in the location diagram, you have seen the 9 quadrants and where exactly stomach is situated. Then going to the totally, next comes about the shape of the stomach. So almost all this shape, when you see, this will be appears like a J shape. When you say this is a J shape, but it is in the empty stomach, we are going to have the, it is a J shape. When food filled in the stomach fills liquid, that is in the stomach, that will cause something distension in the stomach, and it loses its J shape, that we call as a periform in shape. So you have to know, so what is the shape of the stomach? That is a J shape, and partially distended, it becomes periform in shape. So it is very important, because when it is also depends, shape also depends upon the degree of its distension and that of the surrounding viscera. Surrounding organs and degree of distension also plays an important role in the shape of the, that is the stomach. Then going to the next important part, which is, that is the size of the stomach. When we deal the size, that is the total length of the stomach will be 10 inches, or we can call it is a 25 centimeters. When you study the esophagus, it has 10 inches, stomach you have the 10 inches, and ureter has its measurement length 10 inches. So it is very important, 10 inches or 25 centimeters, whatever the organ, measuring organs in our body. So that is very important. You have to know about the total, almost all the, that is the length of the stomach. So here, length of the stomach, that is 10 inches or 25 centimeter. Then mean capacity, that is you are going to get the 1 ounce, that is 1 ounce equal to 30 ml. So at birth, the stomach capacity will be the 1 ounce. When it gradually grows, age advances, reaches person reaching to the puberty, its capacity will becomes as a 1 liter. Then as person again grows and in the adult stage, we have the capacity of the stomach will be 2 liters. Maximum we have the 2 liters. So you know what is the size, location and shape of the stomach. So next we are going to deal about what are the external features of stomach. It is very important to know all the external features of the stomach. So when we see the stomach, in this, we have the totally 2 orifices, 2 curvatures. And these curvatures we can explain also as a stomach borders. Then it has the 2 surfaces. It has 2 parts, major parts, and that is subdivided into the 4 parts. So that is very important to know all these important parts and external features of the stomach. So in this diagram, you can see that almost all the total, which are totally, we are first, I have told the 2 orifices. So these 2 orifices we are going to get. So in these 2 orifices, totally, that is we have the cardiac orifices, where the lower end of the esophagus opens into the stomach, that is the cardiac orifices. Then we have the pyloric orifices. The stomach pyloric canal opens into the first part of the duodenum. So I have told 2 orifices. Then going to the 2 curvatures, we have the 2 curvatures. So I have told this is the lesser curvature and this is the greater curvature of the stomach. Also we call this lesser curvature right border, and also we have the left border of the stomach. Then we have the surfaces. As you see front view, that is you are going to get the totally, that is totally anterior surface and posterior surface. So almost all you have come across the external features of the stomach. So after this, it has the main 2 parts. So whatever we have, we have the cardiac part of the stomach, and this is the pyloric part of the stomach. So here pyloric part and cardiac part, 2 main parts, and this cardiac part that is divided into 2 again subdivisions that is fundus of the stomach. Then we have the body of the stomach. Then pyloric part, which is having the pyloric antrum. Then it is a narrow canal-like part, which is and ending at which is a duodenum. This is a pyloric canal. So almost all 2 parts divided into a subdivided 4 parts, that is fundus, body, pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. So these all important external features of the stomach. So what we have studied? We have studied just now the 2 orifices, 2 curvatures, or also we have the borders, 2 surfaces and 2 parts subdivided into 4 parts. So almost all you are going to dealt about the external features of the stomach. So when we go to the next slide, that is in this slide you have to concentrate. We are going to deal more detail about the all external features, that is the 2 curvatures. Very important we have to deal, that is the curvatures, because we call as this is a lesser curvature and greater curvature. When you see this lesser curvature, so this lesser curvature, which is a concave, and it forms the right border of the stomach. So it provides also attachment of the lesser omentum. 3 points must you know that the lesser curvature, that is the right border of the stomach, it is a concave, and it provides attachment to the lesser omentum. So whatever in the stomach, we have the total, that is a one angle here and at the lesser curvature formed incisura angularis. This is the notch which is there at the lesser curvature, that is at the region body and the pyloric part. There is a depressed part we call as a lesser, that is a angular notch or incisura angularis. Next, going to the greater curvature, when you see the greater curvature, so almost all you have to remember, that is the greater curvature is, that is a convex. Also, we are going to call it is a left border of stomach. Here you can see convex, greater curvature, left border of stomach. Then it is attached by the what is known as a greater omentum. This is very important. This greater omentum consists the gastrosplenic ligament and gastrophrenic ligament. So this is very important attachments on the along the greater curvature of the stomach. So when you see the all the curvatures, that is the lesser and greater curvature, here you have come across the what are the attachments and what is the, it is a concave or convex, or it is called as a, that is we call as a right border or left border, and what are the important ligaments attached. So next we are going to deal about the orifices of the stomach. So when you see in this picture orifices, so here you are going to see that is almost all the stomach, you see the position of the stomach here. And in this, you have to know that is the upper end, which is the lower end of esophagus opens into the stomach. That we are going to call as a cardiac orifices. It joined by the lower end of the esophagus here, and it lies behind the left seventh costal cartilages. And it is exactly 2.5 centimeter from the junction with the sternum. At the level of the vertebrae T11, thoracic 11th vertebrae and 7th costal cartilage behind, and 2 centimeter from its junction. So you have to know here almost all the total we are discussing now about the cardiac orifices. So this cardiac orifices you have to know here totally about the at the lower end of esophagus opens. Then next we have the, that is the pyloric orifices. When you see this at the opening here, pyloric canal opens into the first part of the duodenum. There we are going to get as a pyloric orifices. So we have the pyloric orifices opens into the duodenum. In an empty stomach and in supine position, it lies 1.2 centimeter to the right of the median plane at the level of the lower border of the vertebrae L1. First we have T11, then now we are talking second orifices, that is at the level of lumbar first vertebrae. Then we have the two surfaces. So we are going to get two surfaces here of the stomach. So in the stomach, commonly anterior surface, we also call, that is the anterior superior surface. It forwards and upwards. And second one, we are going to get the posterior one, that is the posterior inferior surface. Faces background, backwards and downward. So you have to remember commonly that is the stomach has the anterior surface and posterior surface. So anterior surface and posterior surface, you have to know that is the Commonly, two surfaces stomach has, anterior and posterior. So here you have to almost all anterior and posterior surface because they have the important relations. When we study the relations, there you have to remember according to the surfaces. Then I have told already that is the stomach is divided into two parts. When we see the two parts stomach, so we are going to have the two parts divided into four parts, as I have told, cardiac and pyloric. So my dear students, you have to know the total two parts divided into four subparts. So main, you have to remember about the cardiac part, that is fundus and body. Then we have the pyloric part, which is consists of the pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. So it is very important to know all the four parts. I have explained what is the incisura angularis. So you have to see here totally the depression at the lesser curvature where that is the body of stomach and pyloric part of the stomach beginning. There is an depressed part, and that we are going to call as that is the incisura angularis or angular incisurae. So it is very important to know on the lesser curvature. So you have to know the whatever the total larger cardiac part, and that is divided fundus, body, pyloric antrum, pyloric canal. So these all parts you have come across. So more detail about the parts of the stomach you have to know. That is the fundus. So as you see convex, it is convex. You have dome shaped and it is covered under the left dome of diaphragm. So this fundus of stomach, which is that is separating that is a left dome of diaphragm. That left dome of diaphragm separates the fundus of stomach from that is the left lung and left pleura, and little part that is the diaphragm separating that is the pericardium and heart. So here you have to know the major part, that is the fundus, convex dome shaped part above the horizontal line drawn at the level of cardiac orifices, where the cardiac orifices is here opening, but this level, it is a convex dome shaped part, and that is we are going to call as a fundus of the stomach. Then we have the body. It lies between the fundus and that is the pyloric part. Simple way here, fundus and pyloric part. In between, more larger part which is there, that we are going to call that is a body of the stomach. So here, body of the stomach. So totally this body of the stomach is a larger part, and this body of stomach, which is consists the gastric glands, major gastric glands, which are present in the body of the stomach. Then going to the pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. So when we come across the pyloric antrum, so in between the part which is in between the pyloric canal and body, that is a part which is we call as a pyloric antrum. Then pyloric canal, which is in between that is the first part of the duodenum, and we have the pyloric antrum. In this, whatever you are going to get in between the first part of the duodenum and pyloric antrum, we have the pyloric canal. This is a narrowed part where the stomach is ending as a pyloric orifices, and it will continue. That is the next organ, that is we have the duodenum. So it is a very important, that is know the all four parts and its explanation, and all the one angularis we have incisura angularis. So almost all these four parts we have studied now. That is, again, you can revise here. Totally, that is totally you can get the all cardiac notch. We have to explain here. The angular incisure, we call here, I have explained on the lesser curvature. So cardiac notch where the esophagus opens, and when we orifices, cardiac orifices, horizontal line drawn, and whatever the upper convex part, dome shape, that is we call the fundus of the stomach. So cardiac notch, which is we are going to have here at the opening, at the depressed part where the esophagus opens, and the expanded upper dome shaped, that is part of the stomach. In this we have the cardiac notch. So angular incisure and cardiac notch, two things you have to mention here. Next we are going to deal about the totally, that is the what are the ligaments of the stomach. See here, totally ligaments we are going to study first, because these two diagrams which are there, they are very important because they give us the guidelines, that is the other small ligaments which are present, and they are attached along the, that is a greater omentum, along the greater curvature, and lesser omentum, lesser curvature of the stomach. So it is very important that is the see that is almost all the total stomach has the ligaments. We are going to get the like a, when you see the already studied attachment, I have told the lesser curvature, we have the attachment, that is the lesser omentum. So this lesser omentum that consists the hepatogastric ligament and hepatoduodenal ligament. So these two will be present with the lesser omentum, and it is attached along the lesser curvature of the stomach. Then we are going to the greater curvature. In the greater curvature, so almost all this is called as a greater omentum. Here you have to know the greater omentum. This greater omentum totally, that is, it also consists the small ligaments from the other visceral organs which are nearby situated, that is the stomach. So nearby the stomach, what are the organs situated? We have the spleen, we have the diaphragm, we have on the right side, we have the liver, even inferiorly we have the duodenum. So you have to know about the total nearby organs, visceral organs, that is near the stomach. So that gives the idea. Hepatogastric means hepatic word relates to the liver and attached to the stomach. And hepatoduodenal ligament attaching to the duodenum major part, but fold fibers are included in the lesser omentum. So lesser omentum, major, it is consists the attachment with the stomach is hepatogastric ligament. Then that also having the attachment, that is ligament known as a hepatoduodenal ligament. Then when we see the, I have told neighboring organs or the visceral relations we call. So one gastrosplenic, from the spleen to the stomach. Gastrophrenic, phrenic means diaphragm. So from the diaphragm, the ligament attached to the diaphragm to the stomach, then spleen to the stomach, that is a gastrosplenic ligament, and that is all will be forming the greater omentum. So it is very important to know the ligaments. In generally, you have the gastrohepatic, gastrophrenic, and gastrosplenic, and here we have the gastrocolic. From the small intestine, large intestines, and the stomach greater curvature, that is the gastrocolic ligament. So almost all, this is a very important. what are the ligament attached to the stomach. So next with this, we have studied the almost all the ligaments of the stomach. Then going to the relations. It's very important when we ask for this stomach as a long question that carries the almost all separate. If we divide the 20 marks question, the remaining part, whatever I am covered, that is the total introduction to the till now, it may includes as a 5 marks. Then we include the relations for the 5 marks. Then we include the blood supply, nerve supply, and lymphatic drainage, and we have venous drainage. All that will be asked as a 5 marks. Then remaining all functions, histology, and total clinical anatomy, that carries the 5 marks. So in generally, you should know that is separate weightage of the marks. That is, you have to write in the answer paper, that is the all the organ, which is an organ asked, that organ relations you have to write, you have to must write with the diagram. So that here you have to know the first one, we almost all the organs, first we divide the relations, peritoneal relations, then we have the visceral relation. And I have also told two surfaces of the stomach, anterior, posterior surfaces, important. We are going to deal important relations which are related to the anteriorly or posteriorly. So that now we are going to deal about the relations of the stomach. So in these relations, I have told two divisions. We have the peritoneal relations, almost all the peritoneal relations, which are, that is the total attached through the peritoneum. That is a line by the peritoneum on both surfaces. So I have told at lesser curvature, layer of peritoneum lining the anterior and posterior surface meet to form the lesser omentum. So you have to remember here the totally peritoneal folds and attached structure relating to the peritoneum. Almost all these totally you have to explain in the peritoneal relations. So whatever the important thing you have to know is in the relations, that is the lesser omentum, we have the greater omentum. These all the peritoneal, major peritoneal folds and attached. So because of that only you should understand, I have explained before the relations what are the ligaments. Now you can know the what are the ligaments included in the lesser omentum. What are the ligaments included in the greater omentum? So all this is very important. You can remember, that is the whatever this greater omentum totally we call greater omentum policeman of the stomach or policeman of the abdomen. So this peritoneum is a policeman which is localizes the, finds the whatever the infection, and it will fights and the restrict the spread of the infection. And that is we are going to call, that is the, we are going to call, that is the totally, that is we call as a, that is the policeman of the stomach or the abdomen. So this almost all, when you open the abdomen, there we are going to get the covering, almost all the abdomen covered by the, that is the small intestine, large intestine, anteriorly they are covered by the, that is a greater omentum. So it is very important to know all the peritoneal relations, but simple way you have to remember peritoneal folds which is attached to the lesser curvature, that you have to know about the lesser omentum, greater curvature, greater omentum, and what are the included ligaments which are attached with the total lesser omentum and greater omentum. You have to write it. So whatever you have to know about the total after the relations of the stomach, in that we have studied the first peritoneal relations. So totally Now we are going to that is a visceral relations. In this visceral relations, whatever the anterior surface, posterior surface. We have the stomach, anterior here, related anterior surface, posterior surface. This anterior surface, in the abdomen, you can see the organs which are relating on the anteriorly. That is you have the first anteriorly, the stomach is related. That is we are going to have the anteriorly stomach is related to so you have the left lobe of liver, this left lobe of liver, which is, we have this is the right lobe of liver and this is the left lobe of liver and covering the stomach. So that is the anterior surface relations. So you have to know the totally anterior surface visceral relations, left lobe of liver, we have above here diaphragm, left costal margin, then anterior abdominal wall. So what you have to remember here, all the organs near anteriorly, which are relating to the anterior surface of the stomach. So visceral relations on the anterior surface are left lobe of liver, diaphragm, left costal margin, then anterior abdominal wall. So it is very important to know about the anterior surface. Then next, going to the posterior surface of the stomach relations. So posterior surface of stomach, we commonly name this all structures relating posterior surface, we call as a stomach bed. So you have to know about the posterior surface of the stomach, that is related to that is the diaphragm. We are going to have the diaphragm, left kidney, left suprarenal gland, pancreas, transverse mesocolon, splenic flexure of colon, and splenic artery. So here you can see almost all the structures which are related to the posterior surface of the stomach. Why we are called here the posterior relations of stomach as a stomach bed? Very important, we did not call brain bed, lung bed, heart bed, liver bed, spleen bed, kidney bed. But here why we call the stomach posterior relations as a stomach bed. So when stomach is a hollow muscular organ, it is full with the food and liquids. It distenses and it rests on the all posterior relations visceral organs. Almost all the posterior organs which are relating to the stomach, this stomach, when it distends, it rests on all these structures. So that we call that is a stomach bed. So empty stomach, okay, but when we are full and want to take the rest, we go to the bed. So bed meaning, I am telling here, why we did not call the other organs posterior relation or anterior relation, but we have the two beds anatomically. You should know we have the sciatic bed, sciatic nerve resting muscles. Those are we are going to get piriformis, obturator internus, externus, gemellus superior, gemellus inferior. All they are making the sciatic bed. Even we have here one more organ here, that is a pancreas. This pancreas also having the rest, it rests on the organs which are posteriorly related. So that also has. So my knowledge concern, and we have come across major anterior relations of stomach that is a posterior relations of stomach we call as almost all those are the structures related that is the diaphragm, left kidney, left suprarenal gland, pancreas, transverse mesocolon, splenic flexure of colon, and splenic artery. These all we call as a stomach bed structure. One more you can remember, mnemonics I have made, that is you should remember easily, that is the first word of this letters as a mnemonic you can take and remember. That is anatomy is a vast, you have to remember very regularly, you have to practice, and you have to practice with some mnemonics and all. So stomach bed here, I have made the doctor should kindly see into the patient. So here you have to take the sentence is doctor should kindly see into the patient. First letter of this almost all you have to take, that is the, here you have to take the first letter, that is the D, diaphragm. Then we have the S, suprarenal gland, you have to mention left, and K, kidney left, and S, that is a splenic artery. Then you have the I, intestine, that is a splenic flexure of colon. The, that is a T, you have to take transverse colon, and P, that includes the pancreas. So this is very important to know the posterior relations of stomach. That is a, we can remember mnemonic, that is a doctor should kindly see into the patient. So after this, very important to know about this diagram. We have to practice all the structures relating to the, that is the posterior relations of the stomach. You have here, this is a splenic artery, this is a pancreas, that is a, we have the transverse mesocolon, then you have the left kidney, we have the left suprarenal gland. Left suprarenal gland, left kidney, splenic artery, pancreas, and we have the transverse mesocolon. So all these you have to know, and this diagram you have to practice for the, that is the for the diagram drawing in the exam. Then going, when we open the stomach, the, that is totally the stomach when we open. Externally we have seen, now when we dissect the stomach, interior of the stomach. So almost all you see the mucosa of an empty stomach is thrown into a, that is a folds. You can see here folds which are, that is a mucosal folds thrown into a folds. That is a, we call as a gastric rugae. They are very important. They are extending from the body towards the pylorus. So on the mucosal surface, there are numerous small depressions that can be seen with the hand lens. When you dissect the stomach, interior of stomach, you should take it from the dissection box. The hand lens you have to carry, and with the hand lens, you should observe the whatever the openings, small depressions at the, you have get in the mucosal folds, and that you can see properly. So these are the gastric pits you can get, and gastric glands are open into these pits. So almost all these structures are included into the interior of stomach. Then going to the interior of stomach, we are going to deal about the histology. In this histology, you have to remember about all the four coatings. You have to remember mucus, submucous, muscular coat, and serous coat, from inside to outside, inside to outside. So interior to outside. So interior to outward, we have the interior most, innermost layer, that is a mucus. Then next to that, we have submucus, then muscle coat, that is having the longitudinal, then circular, then we are going to have the oblique smooth muscles, and almost all outer, which is we call as a serous coat. So you have to know about almost all the total that is the histology of stomach. That is the all the 4 structures, layers, that is you have to remember. Then going to the one more diagram, this will be gives you the idea about the all the histology of the stomach. Then going to the blood supply of stomach. Here blood supply of stomach, you can see the stomach is rich with the blood supply. Those are the branches, many branches supplying the totally stomach. We have the first blood supply to the stomach, that is the branches from the celiac trunk. We have the here, that is the right gastric, splenic and hepatic. Also we have the right gastroepiploic artery, and this is a left gastroepiploic artery. And we have the small short gastric arteries, that is 5 to 7 small short gastric arteries. So you have to know the totally almost all the blood supply to the stomach is by the left gastric artery, right gastric gastroepiploic, left gastroepiploic, short gastric artery, that is 5 to 7 in number. Venous drainage, same, you are going to get those veins drains, that is the corresponding arteries. We have the left gastric vein, right gastroepiploic vein, left gastroepiploic vein, short gastric vein. So you have to know here almost all these venous drainage carrying to the superior mesenteric and portal vein, and that is almost all the venous drainage of the stomach. Then next you are going to have the important part, that is the nerve supply of the stomach. So you have studied all the different organs nerve supply. Here we have the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve. Sympathetic nerve supplying to the stomach, they are derived from the T6 to the T10 spinal cord, and path for the pain sensation and vasomotor in function. And we have the parasympathetic nerve, that is the right vagus nerve and left vagus nerve. So you are going to get all these sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve supplying to the stomach. So you have to remember T6 to T10. The pain area, which is you have to remember the epigastric region, stomach, that is supplied nerve area T6 to T10, epigastric region, that is stomach pain. This is, you have to know, that is a nerve supply by the sympathetic nerve T6 to T10 spinal nerve. Then going to the lymphatic drainage, this is very important lymphatic drainage. Commonly we divide the lymphatic drainage of the stomach, that is areas of territories, draining areas or draining territories of the stomach. So we can divide this stomach longitudinally imaginary line, that is, we can write 2/3, left 1/3. This left 1/3 of the stomach we can divide into upper 1/3 and lower 2/3. So these areas we are going to divide with the imaginary plane, and according to those territories we are going to have the totally they are draining. So here first, so whatever you have to have the group of draining, we have the that is a superior gastric nodes, that is we have the here left gastric nodes and right gastroepiploic nodes, pyloric nodes and pancreatico-splenic nodes. Then we have the here right gastric node and celiac node, and we have the hepatic nodes. So almost all the upper area, this will be area number 1, draining, that is to the left gastric node or superior gastric lymph nodes, and drains to the celiac. Okay. Lower gastric subpyloric nodes, also we call subpyloric or pyloric nodes, and right gastroepiploic nodes, they drain to the totally to the carrying finally right gastric node to the hepatic. So upper one, upper area, 3 number area, that is the they are draining area. Lymph drains into the pancreatico-splenic nodes. It is very important to know that is a lymphatic drainage, because it is a rich with the lymphatic drainage. and that is important for dealing the cancer of the stomach. So we have the next, that is the functions of the stomach. First word only I have told, that is the we have almost all, we work for the all, that is the stomach. For the stomach means in Marathi I have told पोटासाठी सर्व काही आपण करतो. So what are the functions of the stomach? So here, first one, you have the functions, that is the totally you are going to have the total functions. First functions, primarily the stomach acts as a reservoir of food. So here reservoir of food, 4 hours food may remains as a reservoir in the stomach. Liquid may fast. So maximum, that is the 3 to 4 hours, we have the food reservoir, that is stomach acts. So that is the first function, is reservoir of food. Second function of the stomach is, it is whatever the due to the peristaltic movements, it softens and mixes the food with the gastric juice. And third function of stomach is digestion. That is the proteins are digested into a peptones with the pepsin and hydrochloric acid. So the main function, that is digestion. Then we have the gastric glands producing the HCl that will act as an antiseptic acid barrier. Whatever the organism entered through the food, those entered organisms are killed by the acid that is secreted in the stomach, that is we call as a HCl. Then we have the next, self-protection. As acid is secreted in the stomach, it has a protective mechanism. The mucous membrane is protected by the mucus protection. That is, the mucus gland secrete the mucus, which will prevent the action of HCl on the gastric wall. Then we have the sixth function of the stomach is absorption. So here absorption of what? Water, salt, alcohol, and certain drugs. They are absorbed in the stomach. So seventh function, it produces intrinsic factor helping for the vitamin B12 absorption. And these all are the main important functions of the stomach. Here first, primarily we have the reservoir, mixer, digestion, then secretion of HCl, that is acts as antiseptic acid barrier, self-protection by the mucus, absorption, what it absorbs, stomach, water, salt, alcohol, certain drug. Stomach produces intrinsic factor and helps for the absorption of the B12. So these all are the main functions of the stomach. So after this, we are dealing with the clinical anatomy of stomach. It is very important, the clinical anatomy of the stomach. First one, clinical anatomy, we have the gastric pain. So I have told the total nerve supply, thoracic 6 to the 10, spinal cord supplied, and this gastric pain is felt in the epigastrium. So epigastric regions, you are going to get the pain that is always indicates that the stomach, relating to the stomach, and that is the which is you are going to get as a due to the irritation or spasm. And it may give the symptoms, first symptoms like a dyspepsia, that is a nausea, vomiting, we are going to get it. So next we have that is the peptic ulcer, can occur on the sites of pepsin and HCl acid. This commonly commonly we see in the first part of the duodenum. As soon as the acid secreted in the stomach, it directly opens into the first part. That region we are going to have the chances of getting the peptic ulcer. But most commonly we get ulcers in the GIT, lower end of esophagus. Then we have along the lesser curvature. They are the commonly we see, and in the first part of the duodenum. So that is the peptic ulcers, that is the due to the secretion or secretion of HCl that is causing the ulceration, discontinuity in the mucous membrane. Next, we have the next function of the stomach, that is we are going to get, that is the gastric carcinoma. Very important, is a common and occurs along the greater curvature, where the commonly the cancer is seen, that is the cancer of the stomach. So it is affecting so many etiological factors which are present, which are dealing with the cancer of stomach. This you will more detailed surgical topic you can deal in the third year BHMS. So you should remember gastric carcinoma, or that is a cancer of the stomach. Then pyloric obstruction. Fourth important applied anatomy is the pyloric obstruction. It may be the congenital before birth, acquired after post-operative surgeries and all. We have that time there may be the pyloric strictures which may leads into obstruction, and or annular pancreas and all, they cause the obstruction to the duodenum, or we have the congenital anomalies causing the pyloric obstruction. Then we have the common investigations of the stomach. Relating to the stomach, we do the chemical first, gastric analysis. That is we call as a fractional test meal. Small amount of food is introduced and enters into the stomach, and amount of secretion of gastric juice and HCl, that will be tested, and that is chemical testing we call as a, that is a gastric analysis. Then next you have the, that is the radiological examination by the barium meal. Stomach, you want to thorough study lining, interior lining, that is a, we advise the investigation radiological, that is a barium meal X-ray or barium meal follow through. So that is all you have to, and taking the radiography. Then we want to visualize the interior of the stomach by the endoscopic, that is a, we usually call stomach visualizing, we call as a gastroscopy. So totally interior of the stomach is visualized and seen, and any ulceration, any growth, any obstruction can be visualized by the endoscopic method of investigation. That if we are observing stomach, we call that is as a gastroscopy. We have the fifth one, pyloric obstruction. This pyloric obstruction may be the congenital or acquired. So this is you have to remember in the all clinical. So gastric pain, we have got the pyloric obstruction, that is how it is. Then I have told the next, that is the peptic ulcer, very important. A duodenal ulcer, gastric ulcer. How to differentiate? Gastric ulcer, immediately as soon as we eat the food, pain starts, because that is a HCl and food which is reacts and that is touches to the inflamed stomach wall and causing the, that is ulceration site, causing the pain. So that is we call as a gastric. Peptic, where the food dilutes the HCl and enters into the first part, second part of duodenum ulceration. That is a food, that is a relieves the, that is the relieves the pain. That is we have to differentiate duodenal ulcer and gastric ulcer. So this is all you have to know. All the following heads you have to know in the stomach. That is the, we have discussed the all stomach, that is under following head: definition, shape and location, size, external features, relations, that is peritoneal and visceral relations. Then we have studied the interior of stomach histology, blood supply, nerve supply, functions, and lastly we have studied the clinical anatomy. So with this almost all we have covered, and you have to remember, never forget to draw the diagrams. You have to draw the location diagram, Then second, you have to draw the relations diagram, position diagram, blood supply diagram, lymphatic drainage diagram. They are the must and important that includes in the, that is a theory writing exams. So it is very important to know the total all these heads. If you write these all under these heads, then you will get the, that is the maximum you can get the marks. Out of 20, you can get the maximum marks, that is stomach, for the stomach. So this is all about the total today's lecture, that is what the relating to the stomach. So I once again highlight that is the, you have to, any question which is asked, describe in detail anatomy of stomach. Describe in detail, that is the anatomy of stomach, means you have to explain all the heads. So this is all the heads you have to explain. I have told the relations, blood supply, nerve supply, venous drainage, functions, clinical anatomy. You have to know that. You must. So this is all I have briefly important points I have covered, that is the relating the stomach. And once again, I am very much thankful to Maharashtra University of Health Science, Nasik, giving me the opportunity to deliver the lecture online as a guest lecturer today. That is a topic known as a stomach, anatomy of stomach. So I hope that is almost all I have covered the points. And once again, special thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Dilip Maisekar, Sir. Special thanks to Registrar, Sir, K.D. Chavan, Sir, Dean of Homeopathic Faculty, Dr. Danaji Bagal, Sir, our beloved chairman, as we get the very good setups in our college, we delivering the lectures to our students, and that help through the university. Today, I able to guide you all. So my beloved chairman, Prithviraj Patil, Sir, also I thank to all MUHS Nasik information and technology staff, Ratnakar, Kari sir and his team, that is very approaching us and handling us to deliver the lecture. I thank them all once again. I am very much thankful to you all listening to me and Maharashtra University of Health Science. Thank you very much. If any questions, I hope that you have the button of raising the button. Yes, sir. I am completing the lecture. So anyone want to ask the question? You please ask the question. Hello. Yes, ask question. Samiksha.
So, what is actually mean by distension?
Distension is when the hollow organs like a muscular, I have told bag like, when they filled with the capacity, more than the capacity, then that capacity crossing, that may we call as a distension, over distension and distension. As these hollow organ like a stomach, they are filled with the capacities they are having. So that according to that capacity they manage. If they are filled more and more, then we can have the distension or enlargement, bulging. So over distension word is there and distension is there. So Samiksha, this is the answer for you and you have to, okay. Next question.
Okay.
Next